A host or participant.
Okay, good morning, Santa Rosa Quilt Guild. Today is the first meeting of 2023, and we are Zoom only due to the weather conditions. There was a decision made to do this as Zoom only today. So yes, we do love our in-person meetings, but as Jan Andrews just said, given our demographics and people coming from hither and yon, it's probably a good idea just to do this on Zoom today. So our meeting is being recorded today by our Zoom team, Elaine Tucker, Justine Lott, and Ann Nolan. And I'm not sure who's doing what level today, but thank you all for being available to do this. So then if you all know, our meetings are going to be changing. The hybrid meetings are going to be a little bit different in the future. And if you're not sure how that's going to work, please check your newsletter that was sent out, because there's that change coming. So this is our first meeting of the year, and we are going to be swearing in the new officers in just a moment. I don't know if we have any new members here today. I have a guest with me today, Angelica Smith. She will be speaking in a few minutes. So are there any new members or guests here today? Anybody raise your hand or say something and we'll get you taken care of here, introduce you. All good? All right. So I'm going to let Sharon Fry swear in the new officers, those that are here. So Sharon, if you want to unmute yourself and do your thing, that'd be great.
Good morning, everybody. As parliamentarian, it was my duty to assemble a nominating committee to seek out our members of the Santa Rosa Quilt Guild to serve in the 13 positions of our elected board. 2 members of the committee needed to be from the 2022 board, and Diana Cotting and Elaine Ramirez immediately volunteered. 2 more members were required from the general membership, and Rhonda Denny and Debbie Ferris-Cole stepped up. Announcements were made to the membership at meetings and via emails asking for nominees. The committee's recommendations were presented at the September Zoom board meeting, and all were unanimously approved. The results were announced at the first meeting in October. All positions were open for nominations until the close of the meeting on the 3rd Thursday in October, at which time there were none. Voting took place by the general members at the meeting in November, and all positions were unanimously approved. The 13 elected board members are President Diana Cotting, Vice President Candy Delgado, Secretary Debbie Ferris-Cole, Treasurer Janet Tonkin, Programs Trina Jansen, Programs Chair-elect Elaine Ramirez, Parliamentarian Sharon Fry, 6 members at large: Jan Andrews, Rhonda Denny, Kay Hartman, Linda Hooper, Jeannie Parent, and Joy Wakefield. At this time, I ask if these 13 people will solemnly affirm that they will faithfully, truly, impartially, and honestly, and to the best of their judgment, skill, and ability, execute and perform the duties stated in our bylaws. Oh, and don't forget, we're all supposed to have fun and make time for the quilting that pleases each of us. At this time, I quote our guild president back in 1998, Lois Stevens, and she said, "Now you may swear." So I swear, and I can't see everybody else on the screen at this point, But those who are nominated, I hope that you all raise your hand and swear, and those who are not here will get you at our next meeting.
Okay,
Thank
I
you.
agree, but I'm not going to swear.
Okay. You may affirm.
I affirm. Okay, so good. And we did have a new member, so I want to back that up real quick. Thank you, Sharon. Back that up. We have a new member here, Carol Simpkins. She raised her hand, but she's probably on a screen that we didn't see. So welcome, Carol. Nice to have you here. Thank you. So we're not going to have show and tell today. I'm sure we have a lot that's going to be building up for our show and tell. But I wanted to introduce you all to a young lady I met in November. Now, our paths have crossed probably a time or two in previous years. But in November, we were able to connect. And a little background before I have Angelica Smith chat with you. My husband's dearest friend, longtime friend, Tim, has a nonprofit that he and I both work with. We're on the board for that nonprofit. This nonprofit is called Santa Tim, and it's based on Tim, who is a very large person. He's like 6'4" or 5", big man. And for well over 30 years, he's been playing Santa. And he got asked to play Santa years ago, and it just kind of migrated from one thing to another. So he's played Santa for a number of community organizations where he actually has a Santa suit. He dresses up. He has people that dress up as elves that help him. And sometimes they pass out gifts at some of their different events. So he also, throughout the year, he raises money and he donates items to numerous charities throughout the year. One of the fun things that we get to do is in November, we meet some folks from different charities and we get to go on a shopping spree. And we generally spend about $15,000 up at Walmart in Windsor. And we have representatives from the following programs: Green Acres Boys Home, the Interfaith Shelter Network, Family Circle, California Children's Services, Our Village Closet, Sonoma County Health and Maternal Care, and Catholic Charities. So this last November, I was paired up with Angelica Smith with Catholic Charities. That is her paid position in life, but she has many different things that she does that she's very dedicated to. So Angelica and I were zooming through Walmart and filling up our shopping carts with lots of goodies. And it's fun to buy all this stuff for people. So I noticed that Angelica had a sewing kit in her basket. So of course I had to ask her, who is the sewing kit for? And then she filled me in. So I'm going to give Angelica Smith, thank you for coming today. Zoom, you were going to be in person, but this is great. Thank you for being here on Zoom. I'm going to let you take over and share with our Santa Rosa Quilt Guild who you are, some of the things that you do at Catholic Charities, and about that sewing kit and your Native American heritage. So take over, Angelica. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. My name is Angelica Smith. I'm part of the Manchester Point Arena Band of Pomos. I work at Catholic Charities doing outreach assistance as long as case management, and I'm also partnered with the Justice Center to work with domestic violence. It was a great opportunity for me to go shopping. And unfortunately, my daughter is now in college and she was unable to assist me with shopping this year. So I was able to get some help and Santa Tim paired me up. And then we were able to talk about some sewing and different things. It's kind of interesting because you meet people from all over and that do different things. So one of the big things that I am able to do is to work in my community with different natives and different native nonprofits. This year, I've met a lot of young people who are anywhere from the age of 8 to about 20 who are really interested in sewing. And I was able to partner with Sonoma County Indian Health and do a sewing class. However, our sewing class, even though we had about, I want to say 50 people sign up, we were only able to help 4 people. And the reason that is because we just don't have enough equipment. Sewing is a huge part of our culture because it's sort of like a rite of passage. When you become a certain age or when you show interest that you want to learn how to sew, you're partnered with somebody who knows somewhat how to sew, and then they help the culture stay alive by teaching people different forms of sewing. The first thing is that we try to teach people how to sew by hand, and that is really helpful because just certain things are easier, I feel like, to sew with it by hand until they get comfortable with the machine. And then once they get comfortable with the machine, we're able to start showing them the basics of how to sew with a machine. Sewing is a huge part of our culture because we are able to make different skirts for different events. We have skirts for speaking ceremonies, we have skirts for dancing ceremonies, and then we have skirts for like sweat ceremonies that you just wear inside a ceremony that's not open to the public. And sometimes they're really modest and sometimes they're really fancy. So it just kind of depends on what kind of ceremony you're attending. Teaching encourages positivity and also like being proud of who you are and knowing something to pass on to your children, and able to just have that sense of community and togetherness. Passing down traditions is really important to me because it gives me an opportunity to bond with different people in our community, as well as teach people what I know and learn different things from other people. Like, I love attending different sewing events or learning from different people I know in the community that sew, just because we might all make the same thing, but we learn different techniques or we just have different methods of the way we do things. And I don't know, does anybody have any questions?
Well, Angelica, one of the things that you and I talked about was how several of the patterns that we use in quilting translate exactly into your Native American patterns that you use in your different attire. So that's one of the things. Angelica sent me some photos and she said, I really like this pattern. And then she showed it to me on a Native American clothing. And I said, yes, that is absolutely. So I think that that would interest a lot of our quilters, knowing that some of our patterns, I don't know if they originated with Native Americans or how that has come to be. So I don't know if you know the history of some of the clothing and the patterns that you use.
Some of them I do. I mean, I'm not trying to offend anybody or anything, but the swastika sticker is actually a Native American design, which was originated by Native Americans and then stolen, and then they made it into a design that was negative or seen as being negative. And then if you look at different pomo baskets or different baskets from other places, you'll see different patterns that you see everywhere. And I'm wearing a skirt right now. I don't know if you can see it, but it does have our family basket. It's kind of dark in here, but it does have our family basket design. I don't know if you can see it,
Yeah,
but
it's a little dark.
yeah, it's a little dark in here. But a lot of it is triangles and simple shapes that you would think wouldn't be so hard to make, But for some people who don't know how to cut out shapes or how to quilt, it is very hard. I just did it as like cutting out shapes and sewing them on, but I've seen people do cleaner designs where they do a quilting method, and it does make the pattern show a lot more.
Right.
So I'm interested in learning how to do the method of quilting because I feel like the design shows through a lot more powerful than if it's just cut out and sewn on.
Right. Another one of the things that you shared with me was you have a feather in your hair, how your Native American attire very much incorporates feathers. And
Mhm.
you're always looking for those natural feathers. And it would be great if you had access to more of those. So if you want to talk a little bit about those feathers.
Yeah, the feathers that I have in my hair are hawk feathers, and this was a present gifted to me by somebody who just appreciates me and just wanted to show like appreciation. So they decided to make me a gift, and they made me a hair stick, which has been more like a new thing, more modern than it was before. Like before, people didn't really wear hair sticks as much, and now I think it's been brought to a more modernization where people want to wear or like show who they are and wear feathers. So this is one that I don't wear in ceremony. It's just one that I merely wear like out in public. um and to be able to have access, just because we live in Sonoma County and it's not super close to where people hunt, but I mean, I do know people that travel and that go hunting, but they don't use every part of the bird. Whereas we do use, or we try to use as much as every part of the bird as possible. And I have learned how to process birds. So I don't know if you guys see turkeys running around sometimes, but sometimes we do see turkeys running around and they were hit by a car. And fortunately for us, if we work with Santa Rosa PD, they're like, oh yeah, if you want to take it and process it, you're welcome to do so. That saves them from calling animal control and animal control having to come and like process the bird themselves. Whereas we're going to use it for ceremony, we're able to do that.
Okay, thank you. All right, so one of the things that you shared with me, and I think it would interest our guild, was that sewing kit that was in your shopping basket in November when I said, who is that for? And you said, actually, it's for a 17-year-old boy who was wanting to learn how to sew. And and then we started talking, and in your culture, it's not just women who sew, it's across the board pretty much, correct?
Correct. And it depends on what tribe you come from, because different tribes have different rules. Like in some tribes, women are not allowed to be singers. And in some tribes, men are the ones that only make the baskets for babies. They make quilts, they make dresses, and they're the only people that do that. And the women don't do that. So it depends on where you come from. I know for most of the Native Americans in Lake County, they are also Pomo, but they have a strong sense of men who make everything. They make baskets, they are the ones that primarily cook, and they're the ones that primarily do all the sewing. And this young man, he's half Native American and then half Hispanic. So he doesn't get to learn from his Hispanic side the things that most people would get to learn on their native side. So he kind of reached out to a few different people to try to learn different things and reach out to his community to try to find out how he can learn how to sew, which was really interesting because I know that right now he's sewing by hand, but he would love to like have a sewing machine if that opportunity became available to him, just because he tells me all the time like, oh, I want to come to your house, I want to sew, like when are you going to show me how to do this? And I'm like, yeah, whenever you want to come and hang out and sew, like we're more than happy to like share anything that I know to help him learn different techniques.
There are a couple of chats that have popped up. Let me pull them up here. One person has asked, can we see something you have made? And I know you tried putting your skirt, but it's a little dark. So maybe we'll give you a break if you have something that you can share. And then another one said, are there supplies you need to help teach the 50 sewers you have? And you and I have spoke about that. And absolutely, you do need the sewing machines. And then Chris Nolan has said, are you in need of sewing machines? I have some I could donate.
Yes.
So I will make sure that everybody has your contact. And so so I'm not the intermediary. And then if they have something, so absolutely, that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you speak with our guild, is because you are in need of supplies. Aside from sewing machines, I believe you need fabrics as well, correct?
Yeah.
And generally solid
like
fabrics?
we use cotton fabric. Some people use silk fabric. Some people use a thicker fabric. Pretty much open to any type of fabric. It's more on the individual, like what you feel the most comfortable in, or if your body runs hot, or if your body runs cold, or where it is that you're going. Because sometimes we go to Alcatraz, and Alcatraz is very cold in the morning for sunrise ceremony. And those times you want to wear a skirt that's a little bit more thick than just having a cotton skirt. And then if you're going to the sweat lodge, you're going to be sweating and in a room that's full, like a sauna, like with hot rocks. So you want more of a lighter material. Or if you're doing a speaking or something for the public and you want to be a little fancy, some people use silk with lace, with a lace overlay, and then it looks really nice with ribbons and different stuff like that. So it's kind of personal preference on that matter. And we use a variety of like different colors and all kinds of different fabrics. So yes, fabric is a huge need. And we are hopefully planning to have another sewing class in, I believe it's in February. And that one is to honor the murder and missing women, Indigenous people. So those ones are primarily people want to make red skirts or something that has a little bit of red in it, just to kind of show like this is what we're symbolizing, is we're talking about murder and missing women of Indigenous people.
Yeah, and that has been in the news quite a bit, and it is a real issue for Indigenous women across the United States, and I'm sure in other countries as well. So,
right.
So we have somebody said, do you need wild turkey feathers? And I believe you do, correct? You could use those.
Yeah.
Can you use rickrack or ribbons?
Yes.
Yes. And are you looking for help to teach sewing?
Yes, definitely. We're always looking for help. I think that was one of the biggest things that we noticed in this. This was the first time my friend and I had hosted a sewing class on our own. So it was definitely a learning opportunity for both of us. It was just her and I. And she taught the class and then I assisted. And we realized, for one, we didn't have enough sewing machines. And for two, we didn't have enough helpers, because we wanted to do a full skirt with a shirt as long and well as a belt, but we were just so behind, we weren't able to get to the belt. So we did make the skirt and the shirt, but we weren't able to get to the belt, which is okay, because now it gives us opportunity. Like, we definitely learned, and now we can try again, and then hopefully set our parameters a little bit more reasonable.
Right. Do you use beads, and could you use a supply of beads?
Yes, we do use beads. And unfortunately, a lot of the bead stores in Santa Rosa have closed. So everything you have to order, which is kind of hard, but because you can't really see it, just like the fabric store, like you want to see it, you want to see how it feels, you want to see what color it really is. So yes, we can always use beads as well.
Yeah. Okay. And how many people would you like to see in any one given class or sewing sessions?
We just want to make it available to as many people as possible. I mean, something manageable, like maybe 20 would probably be a good amount of people. But I do want to do something that makes it available to as many people as possible, because it was a little unfortunate that we had so many people sign up and then we have to be like, well, unfortunately, we don't have the supplies and the materials, but we did let them know that this was like a pilot program and we were just trying it out and then seeing, that there is a huge need for classes. And that's one thing that I truly appreciate about COVID and the having Zooms, is that a lot of things became more available to people where it wasn't before. Because before, a lot of Native people did not teach sewing or basket weaving or things over Zoom or things that were recorded. And now there's a wide variety of different things you can learn on Zoom or things that have been past recorded about sewing. And I think people slowed down so they were able to realize that, hey, I want to learn how to sew, or I want to learn how to bead, or I want to learn how to quilt or knit, or whatever it is that they wanted to learn how to do. It kind of was able to slow down. So they were given that opportunity to learn a new hobby.
Right. Where do you have your classes or your get-togethers?
Right now we have them at Sonoma County Indian Health, and that's on Stony Point Road. They allow us to use the community room, but we have in the past had it at Yakima, which is another nonprofit off of River Road. It's where we have our ceremonies. It's kind of in a like a dirted area, and it just has a lot of nature surrounding and everything like that, but they do have a building that we are able to use. And then we've also been allowed to use the Finley Center as well and have classes, but just kind of whatever place is available, we just try to monopolize that and just utilize whatever we can.
Right. What kind of beads do you use in your for your decorations and whatnot?
So this I have right now, I have clamshell beads and abalone beads, and then we use glass beads. I have glass beads in my earrings, and my friend made this. Everything that I have is somebody made for me, or I make it myself. So yeah, these ones are like a stone bead and then some glass beads and stuff like that.
Right. Do you use yarn? Could you use yarn?
I don't so much use yarn, no.
Okay, all right. So if our guild were to acquire some items for you, it would definitely help. And then how many, if you would have a set schedule for sewing, how many people would you desire to have help you?
I mean, as many as that would like to help me, I would be open to receiving any type of help, because I know everybody's time is valuable and everybody's schedule is crazy, but I'm open to like any help. That it would be great.
All right. I will follow up with an email to our guild and give them, if you don't mind, your email address.
Yes. Mhm.
And then like if somebody has extra sewing machines, working sewing machines, then they can contact you directly.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
then I don't mind collecting things for you, and then you and I can reconnect to get you whatever item. So, but people can contact you directly. So one of the things I want to talk about briefly, or have you talk about briefly before we wrap this up. First, I want to thank you. But one of the things that you told me is that in your work for Catholic Charities, most every day that you're at work, you are out in the homeless encampments.
Yes.
And you are working with that group of people as well. And do you take supplies to them or find out what kind of supplies they need?
We do in different senses, because we want to help them and provide them with basic necessities, but we also want them to go into shelter as well. So the main thing that we do is we go out to the community around 7:30, 8 in the morning. We stay out until about 1:30, and we're able to contact different encampments and see, it kind of depends on the elements, like what the weather's like. Like right now, obviously we need like ponchos and umbrellas, and sleeping bags are getting wet and stuff of that nature. But we also like to encourage them to go to shelter and offer that opportunity to them as well. And this last year has been one of the biggest years of housing people that have been unsheltered, just because we've been connecting them with coordinated entry, and coordinated entry allows them to link with different type of housing opportunity if that's something that they're in, if that's something that's their goal and they want to get into shelter, because some people have just fallen on hard times and they just don't know how to get out, and they just need a little bit of a stepping stone to get out. And then other people, they struggle with their mental health or they struggle with addiction, so they need other type of resources or assistance. So it's just kind of individual. It's just based on their own individual needs, but we definitely try to help as much as possible. And I know for me, like, I have private people that say, hey, I made a bunch of care bags with my church or with the Girl Scouts, or I collected a bunch of socks, and that is huge. Like, socks and underwear are like a huge necessity that people don't really donate underwear. They donate a lot of socks, but not really underwear. And it's something that a lot of unsheltered people need. Like, yes, we do offer laundry service. Yes, we do offer shower services, but sometimes people can't always get to those things. And then they just want to have a clean pair of socks or a clean pair of underwear, or, in the weather, your feet get wet and nobody wants to feel their feet wet. I know I don't. And so, just having different things provided to them at different times is really helpful for us. And, teaming up with different people, like every nonprofit in Sonoma County has a little thing extra that they try to do. Like, there's different people that try to give out food, or there's different people that have people that knit and they make the scarves and they make the hats, and so everybody contributes a little bit. So it kind of enables us to help more people in a different capacity, which right now there's a new apartment complex that is opening up, and we have a lot of our unsheltered clients moving into this apartment complex, and some of them haven't been in a home for years. So they don't even have the basic necessities of like forks and spoons and plates and blankets and things that you need, like a home, starter kit or something like that. So there's just an abundance of need for like everything, people on the streets as well as people just moving into a place.
Right.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you shared with me as a very proud mother, and I think many of us can relate to family members that we're very proud of, is something that your daughter did at her graduation this past year. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so my daughter is Native American, but she's also Hawaiian, and she's very proud of her heritage and her culture and where she comes from. And fortunately for me, I know a lot of people that do a lot of different things, and they were able to make, my friend gifted her a skirt. She made her a skirt that had orange, black, and white colors on it. And then I had one of my other friends gifted her a lei that goes around her head. And so they had asked her to be the speaker and to do the land acknowledgement speech for Santa Rosa High School. And so she was the first speaker, even before the valedictorian, to be able to speak and talk about the land acknowledgement and where the land comes from. It comes from Miwoks and Pomo people, and just being proud of who she is and being able to support her culture. And she just made me so proud. And then they took a picture of her, and she was in the Press Democrat, and they were just, I think a lot of people were just at awe of how much she, shows her culture and everything like that. And so it was just really nice to see.
Well, she's got a great mama for a role model. So thank you, Angelica. I'm going to put out real quick, are there any other questions for Angelica? And while I wait for that, if anybody has any questions, you can put them in the chat, or if you don't know how to do the chat, unmute yourself so you can ask. But Angelica, the photos, you sent me a couple photos. Would it be okay with you if I included those photos in the newsletter that we put out once a month for the Guild?
Yeah, definitely. And then I can send you some photos too of myself and my children. I was trying to show you the skirt, but I know it's a little dark in here.
Right, right. Yeah, I think that would be a nice follow-up in our next newsletter to have some photos in there. So thank you. So it doesn't look like there's any other questions in our chat, and I don't see, has anybody unmuted themselves for a question? Oh, here's one from Brenda. Thank you for the presentation. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your gift of time with us and the work that you do in the community. So absolutely. And I just want to say that when I met Angelica, and we were, you know, a lot of fun doing the shopping in the store and buying the items. And she gave me a list for the specific families that we were shopping for. So I wasn't just buying anything. She gave me a list of family members and what they needed. But so that's fun. But I just thought that in talking to her and being around her, she just had such a positive presence and was just such a pleasure to be around. So I just really want to thank you, Angelica, for taking the time to chat with me when we were at Walmart and afterwards. And again today, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate being here and just learning more about. I didn't even know there was like a whole quilting a community and everything. So it's good for me too, because I love learning new things and you know, just experiencing different people. So it's really good for me. Thank you.
There's quite a few different quilt groups and guilds around the area. So thank you, Angelica. And I'm going to send your information out to the guild later today. So you'll probably be hearing from folks.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. And you know, you can always reach out to me if you have any questions.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. So I hope that you all enjoyed that presentation. It was a little bit different than what we've had in the past, but like I said, when I met her, she just comes across as such a vivacious and positive person. And one of the things that she did share with me is that in her work for the Catholic Charities, she said it makes her feel like she's really doing something worthwhile for her community. And I just thought, how many of us get that feeling at the end of our work days that we're doing something worthwhile for our community? So anyway, so if I will indeed send that email out with her contact information. So we're not going to do show and tell today, unfortunately. So hopefully everybody stayed safe. The quilt challenge, Laura Barrett, I don't know if you're going to be able to introduce your quilt challenge because your quilt challenge includes a kit, correct? You can unmute yourselves and kind of chat with me a little bit. Oh, caught her unawares there. Are you unmuted yet, please? Unmute. There you go.
There we go. Sorry.
There you go. Thank you,
Missed
Laura.
that part. Okay, so for the quilt challenge this year, Janet Tonkin and I are doing it, and we're calling it 2 Fabrics My Way. So we have 2 fabrics. We're going to give you 1/3 of a yard of each of them. This is the first one. You see that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so 12 inches by the width of the fabric. And then this is the second one.
Okay.
So this one is an Australian fabric.
One of the Aborigine fabrics.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
very nice.
So one person said to me, "Oh, that's hard." And I said, "Well, it's a challenge. It's supposed to be hard." So Janet and I wrapped the 2 fabrics in these cute little packets, and we have these ready with the instructions on them. So the challenge starts today, but it's going to be pretty hard for you to do it without the fabrics, but you can think about it. And then you have to turn in your quilt by the July 6th guild meeting. You have to use the fabric, all of the fabric, most of the fabric on the front of the quilt, not on the back, and both of the fabrics. You can use as much additional fabric as you like. You can use any technique that you want. You can piece it, you can applique it, you can use paper piecing, you can fuse, you can hand applique. However you decide to do it, you can use a combination of those techniques. And your quilt can be any size, from a little wall hanging to bed size. If you take the fabric and then you're stumped and you say, I don't know if I can really do this, maybe I don't want to do it, you have to return the fabric by the April 6th meeting, uncut, or you can make a donation of $10 to the Guild. So we will have goodies for you if you participate, and you will also have a chance for you to display your quilt. We're looking into a couple different options of places where we can display them. So Elizabeth Mars is our consultant, and she told me she did some of her best work when she did challenges. She's been in a group for about 35 years out of Sacramento. So she recommended we display all the quilts so people can see what different things can happen. And she said to hold back some of the fabric to do a little display in the beginning of the showing. So that's what we want to do. Okay. And Janet and I are looking forward to your creativity and your imagination, and just see how different these can be or alike. So does anybody have any questions?
I do. Not
Okay.
every package has the same fabric, correct? They're all
No,
different.
every package has the same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we had,
Is the same. Okay.
yeah, we just cut, that's why we made a third of a yard, so it would go
Perfect.
further.
Perfect.
Yeah,
All right.
good
Thank you.
question.
Okay.
So if
how
you
do
would,
get the fabric?
so we'll have them available at the February 2nd in-person meeting, or you can contact Janet or myself and come and figure out a way to pick it up. Leave it on the
Okay.
doorstep, or if we're meeting somewhere, we can do that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. It'll all be worked out.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Laura. Thank you,
Yeah,
Janet.
you're welcome.
All right. So I have Debbie down for a sewing row update, but she has no internet, so she's not with us. But I just wanted to let you all know that she is still looking for sewing row starters. And she has some, she's looking for others, and she is going to need us all to join in on the sew rows. So if you have any questions, send Debbie an email or give her a call. The Cloverdale Citrus Fair is coming up in February, the 17th through the 20th. Is Pam McVeigh in our meeting today? If you are, Pam.
I don't believe she's on.
Okay, all right. So I will see if I can't get that information out. I believe those quilts need to be turned in, like, let me look at the calendar here, like the 4th of February. So that's only a month away. So we'll see if we can't get that email out to everybody if you want to put a quilt in. And I don't know anything about the opportunity quilt being displayed at the fair or not. I'll have to research that as well.
Diana,
Yes, ma'am.
if anybody is going to submit a quilt to the Citrus Fair, you can get the applications online, and they are due, the entry deadline is January 27th by 5 p.m. So if you're going to do that, that's your deadline.
All right, thanks, Candy. Yeah, well, I will have to get that information out pretty quick. And someone wants to know which Debbie is doing Soros. Debbie Ferris Cole. She is doing it again this year. She did it last year. She's doing it again this year. So I will put a little mark here, and we'll get that Cloverdale Citrus Fair information out. Candy, do you have any updates on what's going on with the opportunity quilt?
I do. I will be getting, I'll connect with Pam in case she's going to do it, but if she isn't, I will submit an entry form for the opportunity quilt. Anyway, yes, so just reminding everybody that the drawing for the opportunity quilt is April 6th, at our first meeting of the month. So if you haven't purchased your tickets, you will have an opportunity at our February and March general meetings. I will bring it. And plenty of tickets. We still have lots of tickets to be purchased by people. I have contacted Moonlight Quilters to take it to their guild meeting. Hopefully their first meeting in March. And I don't know if we have anybody to take over when we get our new opportunity quilt in April to lead us on selling tickets for that new one. It would be great if somebody could step up and do that.
Yes,
Thank
it would
you.
be great for someone to dive in on that one. So thank you, Candy.
Thank you.
A block of the month, Rena Ferrero and Kay Hartman. I think you have update the patterns up on the website. I have it printed. I haven't made any, but I will be making them. Hi, Rena.
Hi. We of course, we can't do the drawing today for the November block, but Kay will take care of that at the February meeting because I will be out of town. I just want to remind everybody, got my little bulletin board here. This is the November block. It's this sunshine block variation. And then the December block was the woven star. We can also do the drawing for that one at the February meeting. So
Yes,
then we would be all caught up.
that sounds good.
This is the January block, which is called a joined variable star. So we're just continuing our focus on polygons this year and, perfecting those sewing techniques. So we just keep on going with it.
Great. Thank you both.
Huh?
Thank you both.
Okay.
All right. Any questions regarding the block of the month from any of our members here? All quiet on the home front there.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, ladies. Does Laura have anything regarding community quilts?
Yes. we do.
Okay.
Okay, oh, here it is. This is so adorable. So I went up to Kaiser in December, early December, and brought some more quilts. And they sent us, I don't know, this really cute card. Yeah, isn't that cute? And they're always so grateful when we take these NICU quilts to the hospital. So she said, thank you so much for the beautiful quilts for our tiniest babies. We appreciate all your hard work. Love, the Kaiser Santa Rosa NICU team. So everybody that's worked on NICU quilts, take that to heart. So we'll be having a quiltathon at the next meeting. So if you haven't been to a quiltathon before, it's like a modern quilting bee where we work on all the different stages of the quilt, starting with some tops that we've layered into a sandwich and taking it all the way through to putting a label on and then cleaning up the threads and putting them in order. So there's always something for everyone at this meeting. So it starts with a short business meeting, and that might be adjusted, Diana, because we're not having a meeting this month. So it just is what it is, right?
I'm glad you're on board with that already, Laura.
Yeah. Janet and I talked about it yesterday. Yeah. So once we finish the business meeting, then we'll start putting the quilts together. We'll take a break for lunch, and at our February quiltathon, we have homemade soups that the hospitality group and a few other people make. So you'll be getting an email about that. And then we'll sew again until about 2 o'clock. So if you look for an email as it gets closer about, what you might want to bring, what you might want to do. And always, if you have questions, just, give a call or send an email to myself or to Janet. we're looking forward to April, where we'll have our parade of the Valley of the Moon quilts. We give them 100 quilts, about the size of 40 by 60 each year. So if you have any Valley of the Moon quilts that either tops or finished quilts that just need binding, get them to Janet and myself, and so we can put them in our stack of 100. We're pretty close, but I think we could use a few more. Does anybody have any questions about community quilts? No?
No questions at this point, but if they think of anything, you guys can always put it in the chat.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Jeannie Parent, are you on today? Are you in the meeting? She is handling our friendship blocks this year, so I don't know that she has anything to share at this point. So, hi, there you are.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, I've already got 2 requests, which
Oh,
is really
great.
a nice request for 2 blocks. And I was looking forward to the meeting to talk about it, but I have to get myself together. I'd like to get the pink binder. I talked to Vicki David, so it's all a go. So if anybody has any requests, that would be great. And already Rhonda has kits for her block. So we were going to meet up today and she was going to give me some of the kits for her block. And then let's see, and Elaine Ramirez too. Hers is interesting, is she would like blocks from people that went to some of the workshops from last year, all different things. I have to get myself together to talk about it. I'll do it at the next meeting. But yeah, so if anybody has any ideas, and as soon as I get the information on how to do it, because I really don't know, then we'll get on the road with that. And I'm looking forward to it.
All right. And maybe just a quick chat about what the friendship blocks are, because we do have some newer members and they may not be familiar with the friendship blocks. And what they are is when somebody puts a request out for a friendship block, you sign up and make a block. After you do that 3 times, you yourself can request a block with the agreement that you will make 17 blocks down the road for other members. So basically you're on the line for 20 blocks. So, and we don't expect it to happen right away, but if you are interested in anything regarding the friendship blocks, give Jeannie a call or an email and she'll chat with you about that. And thank you, Jeannie, for taking that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I need to get the pink binder so that I can read up on it. So,
all right.
yeah, but Vicki David gave me a pretty good overview the other day. We chatted on the phone.
Okay.
But,
all right.
yeah,
sounds
that way
good.
I can kind of organize myself.
Okay, organization
Which is not
good.
my strong points, but you know, I'll get there.
Okay, all right. And Trina, do you want to talk a little bit about the programs you got coming up, and the one in January, this month in particular? How booked is that one?
So January is fully booked, although I'm waiting for a couple checks, so there is some room open maybe. I also am taking a wait list in case somebody, gets ill at the last moment or something. So January's booked up. February, which is MJ Kimman and the gems, I just kind of, there's definitely spots open for that one. I want to give a little plug for it. If you sign up for it, you get all 4 of the patterns for the gems. They're pretty good, big size. They're 18 inches when you're done with the block. If you're like me though, you're like, what do I do with this block once I have it done? So I was proposing that maybe those who want to, like maybe 2 or 3 months after the class, we might do a drawing for whoever wants to, and they can have all the blocks for the people who want to participate. Or maybe I'm even willing to put it all together into a quilt, make it into a quilt, and then we could either raffle that off or we could donate it or something like that. But usually I like to learn the technique, but once I have this finished project, I don't know what to do with it. Although I must say, I have given them often to sew a rose as a start. So you can always do that too. So anyway, that's the February MJ Kimman, the gems. The March one is the thread painting. That one is $45 and that includes the kit. So you'll get the panel, it's a little chickadee and 5 spools of thread and everything to go with it. I have to order that at the end of this month so I can get it in time so that I can pass them back out. She's in Canada and I'm going to do one. So please, if you want to think about that one, there's still room in that class. Please let me know and sign up for that one. Those are all Zoom, January, February, March. I kind of did it that way, thinking in case we had rain and stuff like that. So hopefully that's going to be okay with everybody for the programs also. Starting in April, we have Material Girlfriends. They're in Antioch. They'll be in person. I selected the pattern with the help of a few other members. It's called Trip Around the Sun. So it's kind of a seasonal thing. It's got multiple techniques. So they'll teach us paper piecing, applique, they call it easy applique, as well as traditional piecing. It should be fun. It's a big pattern because it was taught as a block of the month, but you don't have to do the whole block of the month, right? You can do one section or something like that. So please take a look at that one. And there's plenty of space in that one. In April, we have Karen Bolin, which is curved piecing and transparency. She also is local. She's in Santa Rosa. I'm going to have her pop in, I think, next month for a quick show the samples of it and see if anybody else wants to sign up. There's room for that one. And then we have Jackie Gehring in June, and that one's filling up pretty fast. And then Jane Sassaman in July. There's a couple spots left open on that one. In August, we have Sheila Collins. She's out of San Jose. She'll be in person also. Jackie Gehring and Jane Sassaman will not. They'll be Zoom. But Sheila Collins, which is August, she'll be in person and she's got 3-dimensional kind of flowers and animals and things like that. So I think that'll be a fun one. She's taught at PIQF a couple times or at least once. And she seems very energetic and I think you'll like that class. So for everybody who was going to hand me checks today, please mail them to me. I need the money as soon as possible. My address is in the roster, but it's also P.O. Box 37, Duncan Mills, California 95430. I think that's everything. Are there any questions?
There is a question in the chat. Somebody asked, do you need separate checks for each class?
No, we're depositing all the monies right away. I've talked with Janet because that was one thing that people didn't like was having a check hanging out there. So we're depositing it. If the class gets canceled because we don't get enough people or something happens, Janet's okay with sending everybody their money back, writing them a new check. So no, they do not have to be separate checks. One check for everything works fine.
All right. Thank you, Trina. Sounds like some classes. Go ahead.
One more plug for the MJ Kimman class. I want to say she's teaching the exact same class at Paducah this year, and it's for $175 versus $40 for us. So I think it's a good deal. Anyway, that's my last plug.
Marianne here asked if you could please put your address in the chat.
I'll do that right now.
All right. Thank you, Trina. All right. Any other questions for Trina regarding the programs that we have coming up? There.
Somebody says for new members, what was that?
Said for the new members, you can find the 2023 programs on the website, and Linda put that there. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Linda, so much.
Yes. Okay. Sharon, do you want to talk about anything with the library today?
I was going to introduce 2 brand new books today, but I'm going to wait until February with Laura's blessing, because both of the books contain quilts that have been made by our own Santa Rosa Quilt Guild members, and they are going to be bringing the quilts to show when I introduce the books. So between now and then, find all the books that you need to return to us on the February meeting and send me all of your requests for what you would like. And be sure to let me know if there's new books or old books that we haven't received yet in our library that you would like, and I will see what I can do about it. So, any questions about library? Okay,
Not yet, but if they come up, we'll let you know.
or
you can
email
check it.
me.
Okay,
Thanks.
all right. Thank you, Sharon. And we were going today at our meeting, have our social media chair and any of her people working with her help out with, if you wanted to set up an Instagram or Facebook or figure out how to follow Santa Rosa Quilt Guild on all the on those websites, as well as she was going to discuss a little about the Amazon Smile. So Linda Roleka, do you have anything on that you can talk about briefly?
Yeah, so on our social media, just a quick update. We've got about 112 users on members of the Facebook group. So
Nice.
yay, and people are pretty active on it. So if you're not on it and would like to be, just give me a call. We also sent out some instructions on how to get onto Facebook. Instruction sheet on Instagram will also be coming out as soon as it's ready, but it's almost there. I do want to thank, I think it's Jeannie. I'm getting lots of positive comments about our Instagram posts and how pretty they are. And Jeannie recommended a tool called Canva. And I would also highly recommend that to others who want to pretty up their Instagram or any kind of posts. I mean, I'm starting to make quilt labels using Canva. So and then I also want to, if if you do need help, just contact me. My email is, I think I've already sent that out on the instruction sheet and on email. I'm happy to go to any of the small groups or do one-on-ones. In any meeting that I'm at, I will try to show up 30 minutes before and stay afterwards to also help out on a one-on-one basis. And then just a little bit more before I go to the Amazon Smile. If you have any ideas or anything that you want to highlight about the Guild or what your group is doing, and I'm especially making this call out to all the committees, you're working on things, you're putting out quilts, that I'd love to highlight that and showcase those on our social media sites. Okay, now on Amazon Smile, this is a program that we've had for a while. I needed a reminder that we still had it. And it's a really easy way to raise funds for the Guild. As a nonprofit organization, we're able to raise funds this way. What you do, and so we'll also have some instructions that go out just as a reminder, and we'll probably put that in a newsletter as well. I think it went out on one of the newsletters, which is how I found out about it. But it's for every purchase that you make, it's 0.5% goes to the Guild. So that it's a really small amount, but it all adds up. And what that I think it equates to is, if I'm doing my math right, for every $100, it's 50 cents goes to the Guild. So, within the membership, we have a whole bunch of people here. There's a lot of shopping that goes on Amazon. And you can also ask family and friends to help us raise funds this way too. And if you need help with that, again, I'm available, but we'll also put something out on email with the instructions.
That information is in our technique sharing workshop, but I know sometimes people need more hand on hand. Oh, somebody wants to know what Canva is. So yeah, so you go to Amazon Smile and then you get to choose which charity. When you log into Amazon, you choose which charity you want to donate to. So you look for the Santa Rosa Quilt Guild. So Canva, what is Canva?
So Canva is a sort of a graphics tool that you can use to assist with making presentations and letters and labels, but also for, if you see these social media things with flashy things with graphics and all you do is insert a photo, it makes everything look so pretty. I am by no means a graphic artist, but if you check out our Instagram page, some of the newer things just look fantastic. And it's not me, it's Canva that's helping me out with that. So I'll send out a link to it as well. I'll put that into chat. And there is a free version, which is all I'm using now. So you could get a lot out of it just from the free version.
Thank you, Linda. Yeah, free
You're
version,
welcome.
free is always good.
Yes.
Okay, Brenda Coburn, if you want to talk a little bit about Days for Girls, I think you're still on. Maybe.
Here, okay, I'm unmuted. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All I want to say right now is, well, first of all, thank you to everybody that has been helping out with the Days for Girls project. We've been very productive lately, and our sewing days have been lots of fun over at Village Sewing. They've been happening once a month on the fourth Wednesday of every month, but it's not going to happen this month because I'm going to be away. I will be in Florida visiting friends. So no meeting in January, but come February, fourth Wednesday of February, we will be back to Village Sewing to meet up and sew for Days for Girls. I will bring some kits with me on our next meeting in early February. Do we have another in-person meeting this month?
No, we do not.
Okay, so our next meeting is February. Okay,
Yes.
so I'll bring kits with me then. And of course, if you have any stuff you've already worked on, there's no rush to get it to me. So you can just wait till the next meeting to give it to me.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other committee chairs or anything of vital interest that we need to put out there? I don't, you'll have to unmute yourself and or put something in the chat. So while I'm waiting for that, I wanted to just say that last month I sent out an email via Sharon, as we do this, asking if anyone had any information on finding silk ribbon embroidery supplies. And I received 10 emails from that, which surprised me because silk ribbon embroidery is not necessarily in style right now. It was great information. I got a lot of leads on that, and I want to thank those of you who sent that information to me. And just to let our members know, our guild is very helpful. If you have a question, where to find things or anything like that, send a nice email for Sharon to send to our guild, and you'll be surprised at all the information you can gather with a simple email request. So I think right now we have 77 participants in our meeting. I think the high was at 80 or 81, Elaine.
Yeah, I know 81, but I was thinking 83. So I don't know if I had seen something, but I will check that and get it out. I'm really happy that we had as many. You
Right.
know. The closed captioning is very interesting. It pardon the phone. I can't. I'll let my husband get that. Some of the closed caption does not accurately, work with different voices.
Right.
And some of it is a little hilarious, and some of it is like, oh my God, they said that. And they don't know the difference between quill and quilt on occasion. But I hope that it helped. I hoped it helped people some.
Right. Well, it's interesting. I have it turned on here, so it's interesting to see it. And yes, it's if your voice isn't real clear and precise, it's going to come up with some fun stuff. Rhonda wants to do a quick baby closet update. So yes, Rhonda, unmute yourself and step on up.
Hello, and thank you for that. 24 people donated 811 items for the baby closet last year.
Nice, very nice.
Yes, that comes out to about 33 items per person, but we all know that that's not how it shakes out. So at the very end of the year in November, there was a huge outpouring where 265 items were donated in November. And I do count a pair of socks as an item. Sometimes the socks come in packages.
Mhm.
And so I just want you all to know, and thank you so much for all the help with the baby closet. And on January 14th, I have an opportunity to step back in the baby closet. It'll only be my second time because we got this going through COVID. So I'm really excited about it. We're going to empty it up, do an inventory, and get a better idea of what we're looking for. So thank you all for your help and hard work.
Thank you, Rhonda. There are so many needs in our community. It's nice that we're able to reach out to several of them. And Maureen, you asked how to turn on the closed captioning. At the bottom of a screen, when you are in a gallery view, the bottom of your screen, if you go towards the bottom there, it says closed caption, and you click on that, and there's a little arrow that points up, and you can turn it on or off that way. So hopefully you can play with that and give that a try. So any other announcements need to be made here? Our next meeting is a speaker meeting. It's a Zoom only meeting again. The speaker is Britta Nelson, and Trina just spoke about the programs. So hopefully I'll come back to the next meeting, which will be Zoom. And the board meeting is on January 26th. Everybody's invited to join in the board meeting as a observer. If you're not a board member, you'll be muted throughout the meeting unless you have something on our agenda. So between now and February. So I'm wondering, Sharon, at the next meeting, which is a quilt-a-thon, will we have our silent auction table? You're muted. So before there you go.
I will wait to hear from Laura Barrett. If Laura takes a look at the room configuration and lets me know that we've got tables for library and tables for silent auction, I'll put it out on email and let you know what to prepare for.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other?
Diana, I
Yes.
noticed that Pam McVeigh is here. And I
Okay,
didn't see that before, so I don't know if she has any report.
Pam, do you want to say anything about the Citrus Fair?
I don't really have anything to say. I talked to the man in charge, and he was going to make some changes so that because they didn't have us listed as giving a hand quilting award. So he's going to make change in the book, but I haven't heard from him yet.
Candy spoke earlier about the deadlines, and the deadlines are a little bit later this month. So Pam, can we get that information out in an email? Do you want to write that and send that
Sure.
to Sharon? All right, thank you. All right, anything else? Okay, well, I think that went fairly well for a last minute Zoom meeting. So if I don't know if Elaine or anybody is going to allow us to hang out and chat, but we were supposed to do our first brown bag luncheon today, like the old days, but I think we're in the old days today, the old days of COVID. So I think that's it. I'm going to adjourn the meeting. It's 11:15. Thank you all for stopping in to our Zoom meeting. Meeting adjourned.